Hey guys, it's Daniel. The following is a clip from my interview with Radiohead producer Paul Koderie. If you want to see the full interview, it's linked below. So, another song from Pablo Honey I wanted to ask you about is Anyone Can Play Guitar. From what I know, you, your co-producer Sean, the band, everyone play guitar on that track or something along those lines. What exactly is the story there?
Well, that's an example of we were trying to have fun, you know, and we had this idea. I'm not exactly sure whose idea it was. It may have been ours, or it may have been Tom's or Johnny's or something. I don't remember. But the idea was that, you know, if you have a song called "Anyone Can Play Guitar," well, let everyone involved, you know. So we had this middle part of the song, kind of the solo part, and we just made a slave reel, and we had a lot of open tracks, and we just had everyone record a guitar part, everybody in the band, including the drummer and the bass player, and I did one, Sean did one, the cook up in the kitchen. We had everyone come and play something. And some people, it was kind of a personality test in a way. It's funny, you know, what people ended up doing or how they ended up doing it. And then we just did a kind of a big collage mix of that in the solo part. Some of the people didn't do anything that was terribly memorable, so you probably won't be able to hear that. I think Johnny played some stuff with the edge of a coin that was cool, and you can hear that. A lot of people just, I remember I just did kind of noise, you know, because I didn't really want to try to play guitar. It was fun to do, and I think, you know, it took us, that was like a fun afternoon, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. So, one of the things about that song that sticks out to me is the Jim Morrison references. Do you know why Tom had that thing against Jim Morrison? Like, what was the story there?
I don't. What does it actually say? Remind me.
I want to be famous. I want to be Jim Morrison. Something along those lines. He was kind of mocking
Yeah.
him in a way.
Jim Morrison was a pretty unhappy guy, so it might be a reference to that.
Hmm. So, just going back to like the kind of that fun thing you were doing with the guitars, are there any other funny stories you remember of your time with Radiohead, just in general?
Sean and I had a large collection of recording oddities. We played to keep the atmosphere light, you know, like just to have fun. And, you know, you develop little catchphrases. That's why the record's called Pablo Honey, if that's a Jerky Boys routine. Pablo Honey was one of those things that people just kept saying throughout the record, and that's why I think they ended up. I had no influence on them choosing that to be the title, but I thought it was interesting that, you know, that tells you something that they did that, you know.
So cool. So that came from
That
one of
was
your
kind of
audio
like,
tapes?
yeah, the Jerky Boys. You know, did you hear about them? You know them?
I
Look them
haven't
up.
know.
The Jerky Boys. You know, there's another famous one called the Trogs tape where they're in the studio and they're having an argument and they're drunk, I guess, and it's hilarious. You know, it's kind of the thing that inspired Spinal Tap.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of that kind of thing. So there were all these kind of underground tapes that were circulating around, and we had a lot of them, and we collected them, and we had friends who did prank phone calls and stuff. So we had some original ones. We were obsessed with Goodfellas, the movie Goodfellas. We must have watched that 5 or 6 times. The studio had a tape of it or something, and we said, "Oh, it's a great movie," and it's such a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in the studio, when you get into overdubs, the other people always need something to do, you know. So that, you know, that was kind of like a TV lounge with a video recorder and stuff. So it wasn't the only movie we watched, but we ended up watching a lot. It was really pretty efficient. We didn't have that many days. You know, we didn't do as much on the other 2 songs probably as we would have if we hadn't come up with the third this week. But you know, going into any session, it's about coming out with something that's great, you know. So
Hmm.
what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do that? That's what you have to do.